recording. What is this webinar all about? For those of you who may be attending for the first time, my name is JVC Sreeram, and I'm an author and an international keynote speaker and training consultant. Coming to you now from Hyderabad, live from Hyderabad. It's been a long time since I've traveled, ever since March 20th, 2020. So this is a very peculiar webinar which I'm going to address today. I would be joined by two more people. Now, what's the crux of this webinar? Why am I having this topic? What is the thing to avoid? I just said one, but as I keep thinking, there are many more. So the crux of this webinar is very simple. This is the crux of this webinar. I think many of you must have seen this picture of mine. Money loses its value when that money is not in your hands at the right time. Now, this is going to be the crux of the webinar. This is what is going to determine the next 12 to 18 months for each and every business. For each and every business. This is what is going to be the crux. Because what am I saying? Why did I say this? Why am I saying what am I saying? And why did I post this as a Monday quote few weeks back? Everything I'm coming to it in the next few minutes time. But take a snapshot if you want. If you already got mine, it's fine. Keep a poster of this. Doesn't matter whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur. Doesn't matter whether you're into MSME or you're a consultant. I know we also have people who are into finance business who raise capital funding and various things are also here. So for every one of us, money loses its value when money is not in your hands at the right time. And I also have a lot of chartered accountants joining today. Give me a second. I would like to go live on Facebook for today. Just a minute. Going live on Facebook at this point. Because I want this to go to as many people as possible. That's the main idea. Zoom is preparing the live stream right away. Yeah, we are on Facebook now. So I said money loses its value when the money is not available to you at the right time. So what am I going to address in this webinar? Thank you, Tarun, for joining us. Tarun and Heena are going to be the other two people who will be joining me in this webinar and presenting. So the context of this is called as the weeding time. This is called as the weeding time. The seeds are going to be separated from weeds. Now, at any point in time, let us understand that a calamity of this magnitude had not happened any time in the past. Any time in the past, a calamity of this magnitude had never happened. Now, when I started my journey of this COVID period, I can mark the date, April 9th, 2020. And when I started writing this book, I termed it as a no reference point. But as I sit here on September 6, 2020, we have enough and more reference points to look for. So what happens when a crisis of this kind happens? Now, organizations which are sound as far as fundamentals are concerned, businesses which have amazing products and connect with customers, services who are able to understand and be innovative, would be able to succeed and go through this pandemic time very easily. But there are a lot of businesses which would probably have certain lacuna and limitation. They would not have probably seen these things in the earlier times. And more importantly, when an economy is doing well, everybody does well. Depending upon their competency and capability, some of them do exceedingly well, and some of them do probably lesser than the market or the street's expectation. But when the reverse happens, when the GDP of the country has grown or degrown by minus 23%, now people are blaming government. You can blame everybody. The blame game is not going to work. There is no point in fixing the blame. We have to fix the responsibility. Now, this is a time for us to look back and draw certain reference points. Look at certain success stories, and more importantly, look for failure stories, because failure teaches us bigger lessons than success. So I'm going to share with you certain failures which have been beyond the imagination of people. Have seen it right in front of few months back, before this pandemic came. And I've seen this company from very close quarters. I've also seen organizations which have handled crisis and calamities in a better manner and which they came out unscathed. So the first thing to understand is, at this point in time, cash is the jack, queen, king, and ace for any business. For any business, jack is the cash is the jack, queen, king, and ace. So if your business has got enough cash, probably your survival and success is going to be pretty easy. But in an economy like ours, where MSMEs constitute a major portion of the economy, and MSMEs 90% of the time are forced to take orders at the lowest value with the highest credit terms. And Heena Arora shared with me as he was writing the book that some of the micro enterprises, in spite of government's efforts of inclusive banking, they do not even have a bank account, and which will have a trickling effect on the bigger MSMEs and the bigger organizations. So what is going to happen? So what are the options available? What are the things to be avoided? What are the things to be done? If you're a chartered accountant, if you're a finance professional, you are a CFA, you are a valuer, you are giving advices to various clients, this would be a very important one for you. Now, I remember in the year 2014, I had a client. The client had a turnover of 750 billion US dollars. I request all the participants to be on mute. 750 million US dollars. The organization, this was a large chain of supermarkets in East Africa, in Kenya. They were my clients. Now, I made a statement along with a very senior professional in that company, saying that we need to change the way we are running. And as a consultant, in fact, 2014 was the last I had addressed that organization. The owner of that company, who also happens to be the founder, who also happens to be the CEO of the organization, openly snubbed me. And that was not a big thing, it was not a big thing. And snubbed me and the person who was sitting next to me, who was in a very senior position. He said, the one word which I hate in English is change. The one word I hate in English in the dictionary is change. Talk improvement, don't talk change. In fact, eventually, when you are going to speak something which is not music to the ears of the CEOs and founders of many companies, consultants are asked to politely leave, which is true. If you agree with me, type in the chat box, true. Because what managements want is they want people lower level or consultants, outsiders to say what is music to their ears. That's all. So obviously, I figured out and I said, thank you very much. And I, in fact, politely walked out of that company. But I had my interest. I had people who have been, because this was a company which gave employment to 7,500 people. Now, today, this company is non-existent. But Sreeram, what is the relation between this and this? I'm telling you, there are certain things which I have to say. Number two, there was another organization whom I was a consultant with. The organization grew to that of a $12 billion. This organization was started in Khairatabad in Hyderabad in a garage by a guy from IIT and IIM. Two of the guys, I can name them also, not an issue. And they grew, built it so big. The organization became $12 billion market capitalization in London Stock Exchange in a span of 5 years, with a customer base equal to that of the population of New York, 7.9 million. But the founders were very clear. I remember one of the conversation I had with the CEO of the company. They said, you know, Sreeram, I asked him, why is it the founders are selling their share? They said, you know what? This is a gaming company. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. They've built the company, they've built it very big, and they feel that considering the legal environment and the kind of a ecosystem with which we are operating, anything, any moment, anything can happen, uncertainty can come. So that's the reason. And as I was having conversation with them, few months later, both of them had exited the company. And by 2006, September 30th, George Bush passed a declaration which banned any online gaming companies operating, and the company's share fell from top of the world to the dust. And still they managed. The company is still alive. Okay, it has changed ownership several times. They have managed to merge with another company. So I'm giving you a success story, I'm giving you a failure story. Now understand, all of us know pretty well. In fact, those of you who already laid my hands on the book, if you already received it, you must have even read those chapters if you have been a fast reader. The second chapter, the first chapter talks about VUCA, which is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. The second chapter talks about change. And the third chapter says, let us go back to history and see how changes have driven the world, because reference points have to be drawn. So I talk about the 4 types of change, which I'm going to share. Just share, and then I'll go, because this is not going to be my webinar. In fact, I'm joined by Tarun Mahajan and Heena Arora. And after a few minutes time, I will be asking them to chip in and we will have a kind of a panel discussion. Now, there are 4 scenarios of change. Probably those of you who would like to write it down, because I'm not going to give any presentation today, no presentation today, but for the first picture you saw. Scenario 1 is change is the driver, growth is the result. When does the scenario come? In a slow growing economy, if you want to grow fast, these are the words of Jack Welch, you will have to bring in a lot of change initiatives, and which will drive growth, and which was basically called as a GE model. This model is applicable to probably agricultural companies, chemical companies, fertilizer companies, some of the pharma companies, healthcare companies at this point in time. Because although the market is not growing, these sectors are growing. So as a result of which they can bring in a lot of change initiatives to grow. So situation 2 is, I'm growing, but still you have to change. Even if you're growing by, say, phenomenal, you're outgrowing yourself, which is what happened with the company which I had just mentioned. The name of the parent company is Party Gaming. It was listed in London Stock Exchange, and its Indian arm was called IV Contact. It was a typical example of growing beyond the expectations of anybody. Situation 2. Situation 3 is, I want to change the way the entire market operates, game changer. So situation 2, when does it come into picture? Situation 2 comes into picture when post-COVID, when a growing economy, when the GDP is growing at 7%, 8%, 9%, I will have to do that. Third situation is, irrespective of the market situation, I'll be a game changer, like how Ambani is today. Mukesh Ambani is an example for that. Steve Jobs is an example for that. Come out with certain things, absolutely innovative. Market has not even expected, game changer. Situation 4 is, change becomes matter of survival. If you don't change, Khel Khatam Dukhan Band. I repeat, and today we are in that situation. Agreed? Please type in the chat box, agreed. I'm opening the chat box. Okay. Khel Khatam Dukhan Band. If you don't change, Now, most of the people, including my industry, including chartered accountants, including automobile, hospitality, everybody, 90% of the industry today. What happened to Nokia? What happened to Kotak? What happened to Dynora, Kelvinator? Everything can happen to you and me. Survival. Absolute survival. So in this situation, what do I do? I'm just unmuting a few people. Sorry. Change. If in fact, this is a situation which I told this retail company in 2014. Now, at this point in time, I want to bring in, so change. For the change, what are the two things which are essential at this point of time? One, I already told you, cash. There are two things which are required for you at this point in time. One is the cash, another is the customer. 2 C's. If you have 2 C's, you can survive. Okay. One, and the second C, I've dealt so many webinars, webinar after webinar after webinar I've been taking, and I will continue to take. I'll continue to help you. How do you acquire customers? How do you retain customers? How do you turn the customers into a community? Which is what I'm doing right now. And my community members are sitting here in this program. Because it's not only build a customer, build a community. Now, but cash, what do I do? Number one, if you are any of your verticals, any of your business is making losses, and if it is sucking the profits which is being generated from the other vertical, if the other vertical is making losses, shut that vertical down now. In fact, I have a new client who had just signed up with me for my Ascentive Pro. And he gave me a thing saying that I have so many businesses, what should I do? I said, 2 or 3 of your verticals, shut it down. Number one. In fact, this is what I said to the retailer at that point in time, because they had 56 stores across East Africa. And I told some of your stores are unviable to operate. It is unviable to operate. So please close it down. They said, we will not close, we will only open. And then what happened? Number 2, don't become too emotional to your business. So much so that you want to own 100% of your business. That is where I'm coming to today. Tarun, this is where you and Heena have to come into picture. Okay, once I complete this, I'm talking about the behavioral side, and then you'll come about the operational and functional side.
Sure.
So too much of ownership. You have only built that company. You only built it brick by brick. In fact, some of the owners tell me, Sreeram, you know what? I was the one who used to do the puja. I was the peon. I was the one who set up everything. Because some of the CS say, I have to open the shop. I am the security guy. I am the housekeeping guy. I am the tea boy. I am the chartered accountant. I am the one who markets. I am the one who goes for collection. I am the one who goes to the bank. And that, yes, you only built it. But today you are the bottleneck. You are the bottleneck. Somebody is asking me, when are you coming to Nairobi? I don't know. Maybe Gita Satyamurthy, I don't know. So, point is that don't get emotionally attached to your business. So, what do I do? Now, if you are doing okay, and you foresee that your sector may not be able to support you very well, and cash may become an issue, this is the time to look for investors to come into the market. Because what is the other route? Other route is to go and borrow. And borrow at very, very high rate of interest. Because most of the MSMEs are not able to borrow from the banks. And because of what? Because their credit scores are very low. So as a result of this, there's a problem. So what happens if you have to take any action regarding selling off the shares of your company, bringing an investor on board? Bring it ASAP. Don't wait for tomorrow. Let me tell you the story of this company. 2015, investors came from United Kingdom. They offered close to around between $275 million and $300 million. The company was valued less than $500 million. And they were willing to give 3 seats to the owners in the board and 2 seats to themselves. But they would be holding around 40 to 45% of the share. The owners did not want. 2016, again an investor came after due diligence. They said, we will have to hold more than 50% and you can hold only less than 40% of this company. These guys said, no, we will run the show. And you will have to give us the CFO position in the company? No. Again, in the later part of 2016 and the early part of 2017, investors came, they asked for 55%. Now the value of the company is going down. You see, the value keeps diminishing. The value kept diminishing. So at one point of time, $275 million they were willing to give for 35% stake. At a later stage, that's $250 million, which was required by the family, but they wanted 45%. Then $225 million they were willing to give, but they wanted 55%. You see now, when the money is not available in your hand at the right time, that money is of no use. By 2017, some of the leading professionals of this company had already tendered their resignation out of frustration. And by 2017, their stores started closing down. 2018, one after another was closing down. 2019, by the end of December 2019, Khel Khatam Dukhan Band. The most celebrated brand of a country to a non-existent. Now, this can happen to any business of any size if they are not able to take the right decisions at the right time. And particularly regarding money. In fact, one of the persons who was going through my mentoring program, I told him, happily go and take a 22% of your share, sell it off, and raise the money. Don't have emotions to it. Because one, do not have ego. Because when you bring in investor, he is going to ask you, when you bring in investor, he is going to make you accountable. Number two, as an owner, we are all, because including me, because, see, at the end of the day, you might be running a private limited company or a public limited company, but at the end of the day, if you're an owner of the company, you're still running a Pandaba only. Okay. You have that kind of you can take decision. That's the greatest thing. But when you bring an investor on board, you are bringing answerability, accountability. You have to have a lot of transparency. You will be held accountable. Now, a lot of companies today, proactively, I'm doing programs on corporate governance. Why am I doing programs on corporate governance? In fact, for the next 6 months, I'm tied up with an organization to do corporate governance, training on corporate governance, because now companies have started realizing bigger. See, Kishore Biyani is not a fool yet. Kishore Biyani, a future group is not a fool. He built it brick by Pantaloon, Big Bazaar, taking over, Heritage Fresh in Hyderabad and AP. You see it all. He's an icon. He's a legend. Now, when that guy says, no, I'm selling it off, because he knew pretty well, okay, I don't have the energy, I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the muscle power. When this big bull has entered into the game and he has got full of money and I'm fighting a losing battle. So instead of waiting for 2022 when the value comes down to 30% of what it is today and me becoming, bankrupt and all those stuff, instead of doing that, might as well get out of it today with enough cash. And I can happily run my lifestyle. Because what will stop you from doing it? Your ego, your ownership, your emotional attachment, and your inability to adapt to the new norm, which is as an entrepreneur to have accountability, because you're going to be held accountable. Because to a bank manager, you can talk to him. He will not hold you accountable. He will go by the rules, but an investor will hold you accountable. An investor will ask you a lot of questions. an investor will put an uncomfortable question onto you. And I have a few of my friends sitting here whom I need. Because if somebody is going to bring in 2 crores or 3 crores into your company, please understand you are going to be accountable to him. Now, so as a result of which, I do not want, at least those people who are sitting in this particular webinar, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are an MSME, take a very, very calculated call. Sit down today. I only talked about O3 process on April 13th, on April 9th, 2020. I said, don't worry about tomorrow, look at today. But now I'm telling you, start looking about your tomorrow. Because trends are available now. And I will keep doing webinars about the various trends which are going to be, it's going to be a short webinar. It's not going to be for, that's why I said 6 to 6:45, including question, answer, everything, we're closing it down. Because on the contrary, what happened to this guy? The guy, IIT guy and IIM guy, built it to $12 billion market capitalization. They knew pretty well that US will take any decision because their 80% of the customer base was coming from US. So by 2005, January, listed in London Stock Exchange. And month after month after month after month, selling. 2006, by the middle of 2006, they've already bought huge villas in Spain and settled. And September 30th, 2006, George Bush announced. So what happened? Here is a guy, because understand, many of our MSMEs are not from IIT and IIM. And these are smart cookies, very smart cookies. They knew pretty well, okay, we have built our business, no emotional attachment. And these are guys who used to do coding for, sitting in the night, the founder used to do the coding, writing the codes. I've seen that. So Sreeram, what do I need to do? Change. Look at your business model. First, learn to know what is the valuation of your business. That is why Tarun Mahajan is here. What is the valuation of your business? Valuation of your business is like every year we go for a master health checkup. Am I right, Tarun? Is that the example, right example? Okay, master health checkup. Diabetes kaisa hai? Heart kaisa hai? We do it, no? Am I right, Tarun? That's what I would say.
Right.
In our program also for values, I used to make the same statement. Okay. Now, valuation of your business is nothing but knowing what is the value of your business today. Number one. Very, very important. And this should not be, see, don't go at the distress. 10 months later, I know pretty well one of the businessmen will come to me and say that, Sreeram, I think, I need funds, so I need to get my business valued. That's what they're saying. No, don't do that. At that point of time, everybody is putting their papers, they're putting their projects. Every investor is getting it. Because see, understand, most of the hotels will be, in the book I'm covering it. Most of the hotel properties, but for ITC, Oberoi's and Tata's, these 3 hotels will survive. Marriott manages 100 properties in India, which are owned by 50 people. And out of these 50 people, some of them, I'm on Facebook Live, so I cannot name any one of them. Some of them are bleeding badly. They can't run their management anymore. So those hotels will come on sale. Leela Chennai got at a rebated rate. So all these will come after 18 months, it will come, but that will come at a distress sale. Today, what you can do it at your own terms. Okay, I'm running my business. My 2019-20 was profitable. This was my profit. This was the valuation of my business. And now I bring money, bring cash into the system. And my earnest appeal is bring cash, not in terms of debt, preferably bring in terms of equity. I have a lot of chartered accountants here. So this is what. So for a behavioral change, develop an emotional detachment towards your business. Emotional detachment. Okay. Now, number 1 is emotional detachment. Number 2, don't have this ego. Number 3, make yourself accountable and transparentable. So now, I would want Tarun to come in, to speak about valuation in terms of MSMEs. And then Heena would join in. Heena works with MSMEs. This is not to market anybody. See, understand, we are all only giving information to you. I'm not going to sell any course to you. Okay. If I'm selling a course, I'll tell you I'm selling. This is purely out of, this is my corporate social responsibility. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sreeram, for inviting me over here. And every single word, every single sentence you said within my, a short span of little experience of several years, every single word is so true. I must appreciate it. So first thing you said, very right. Though you are a non-finance person, I think you should be tagged as a finance person. Most of the companies worldwide, they are trying to be debt free nowadays. Most of the companies, look at the Reliance Industries Limited. When they came up with this geo platform, initially their level of debt went up beyond 1,50,000 crore rupees or something. But slowly and gradually, they started selling their stake to various companies, strategic partners like Facebook and Google. And they are procuring money not for the purpose of expansion, but for the purpose of repayment of debt. Because if you're a debt-laden company, like Idea Vodafone, like Airtel, like this Future Group, Future Enterprises Limited, they like the Reliance Anil Dhirubhai Ambani Group, all these companies were heavily levered companies. Huge amount of debt was there. And if a situation like this pandemic arises, what happens? You are still committed to make payment of interest. You're still committed to make payment of installments, principal repayment. And a huge amount of debt is there. Your sale has got down. Your EBITDA has reduced drastically. And that way you will be unable to service your debt. Worldwide, all big companies are trying to be debt free. So what is the alternate source of finance in that case? So the alternate source of finance is equity. And now in this current scenario, we are lucky enough. If you go 20 years back or 10 years back, in fact, also, you'll find it was really difficult to procure equity. Get yourself listed at Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange on the main platform was a very tough task. And small companies, especially startup, couldn't think about it. In fact, 10 years back, there was no word like startup in India. But now we have a startup culture. We have MSME listing on Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, and we have many venture capital financiers, angel financiers, and many more financiers are available over here. So debt can be easily replaced by equity. Now, just like your listed securities, share market keeps on fluctuating. Yes, there are speculative forces, but even fundamental changes are there. So on day-to-day basis, one day, value is all a game of perception. I'm a registered valuer. I make valuation of equity of unlisted companies and listed infrequently traded companies. It's the whole game of perception. Today, the perception of the people is that your company will flourish. You have struck a good deal, and hence they will expect your future cash flows to be very high. And that's why they are ready to pay a very high price for your one equity share. It's like that. It's just a matter of perception, whether you will perform or not perform, whether you are currently performing or not performing. What was your past? Sometimes even that doesn't matter. It's just valuation is mostly a game of perception. Yes, you must be strategically, technically, financially, initially sound somewhere, but within a month, within 1 year, perception of people about your business can easily change, and that will drag down your value instantly. This Whitehead Junior, they have sold their business to these Byju's guys, and the deal happened over just a Zoom call. They never met personally, but the perception changed because this pandemic brought in a new term like online learning. I have attended so many webinars in this last 3-4 months time, and I'm situated in Indore, but I could attend webinar happening worldwide. So now even the kids have started learning from technology. So perception suddenly changed. You never know, after 1 year, we will have the COVID vaccine. And again, the people's perception can again change about valuation, that no, we got bored of this laptop screen. Let's reduce screen time of our kids and even for professionals. And let's have one-to-one learning. You never know. You never know. After 1 year, the perception can again change. Today, if the perception is in your favor, I'm not saying dilute your entire equity immediately, but definitely say 5%, 10%, 25% stake of your company. If you are able to dilute to somebody at a very good valuation, that's a chance. And yes, Sriram, you have used very right word, emotion, with your business. I have seen this and changed two important things. Like at Indore level, I know one college group. They are running an institute for engineering college and this MBA college at Indore level only. And the promoter called me and asked me about the Bloomberg terminal. Now, chartered accountants know about Bloomberg terminal. Like, we have share terminals. So if you want international financial data, you need to have a Bloomberg terminal. And that cost for their college, the Bloomberg was offering them 60 lakh rupees per annum as the annual fees for the Bloomberg terminal. Now at a class B city and engineering and MBA college, 60 lakh rupees per annum, I guess their total annual revenue collection is not more than 4 crore rupees. And they are trying to change what the promoter was saying, because that guy got education, some MS degree from USA. His father is not thinking that way, but the son is thinking that if we have the Bloomberg terminal, and in 2 years time spent, when our students will go to various companies and company will start appreciating that a class B city is offering such a great facility, that their college pass outs are able to operate Bloomberg terminal. A Bloomberg terminal operation is not easy. You need to take training. It's very difficult to operate. We will have an image nationally, and that way we want to change. So you need to bring in the change. Now the old culture is your business should be 100% in your control only. Not even a single 1% vote I will tolerate from someone else. So this is the thing, that if you are getting a good valuation, you should try to sell out your equity, reduce your debt burden. World has become a riskier place to live and higher the fluctuations, lower should be your level of leverage. Sriram, can I have 2 more minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So this emotion or ego, that I have set up this business and I will run this forward. So yesterday I was talking to one of the top-notch valuers of India, and he said, when I make a valuation report, I even considered that the promoter is in the age of 60 years and his kids, 2 daughters, are not interested in his business anymore. He never tried to diversify his business in terms of ownership. He is the sole owner of the business. His daughters are not interested in that business. So there are no people to pass on the baton. And in the valuation report, I mentioned it, that there will be a problem of inheritance of this business. The kind of passion this guy is having, nobody is having same type of training and passion. So I project cash flows of this business to be on the lower side. Hence, I will assign it a lower value. Now, this is something you do not have 100% emotional attachment. Invite other people. They don't only put money, but also they put their experience into your business, and your ownership and experience becomes diversified. I'll not take much amount of time. If any other questions are required, I'll be happy to answer.
Tarun, we'll take up the questions a little later. So a couple of things which I want to share with you is one, when I had the interview with one of the senior vice presidents of Reliance in the month of May on hospitality, he said, Mukesh Ambani wants to be debt-free in the next few months. And he's already become. He said he doesn't want to be with debts. He doesn't want to be in debts. He wants to clear off the debts. And if that is the strategy at Mukesh Ambani level, we have to look at I'm not saying that you can't have debts. People have debts. The point is that in a situation like this, it is better to convert the debt into an equity wherever possible. You are a manufacturer, you are an MSME. So as a valuer, will you be in a position to, you valuers, I'm not talking about you, valuers to take up for MSME, smaller companies and larger companies also, Tarun?
Yes.
Okay.
Even for small company, debt is a trap. And from the level of a farmer to the Mr. Siddharth CCD chairman to any level, debt is a trap.
So I have Heena Arora. Heena Arora works with a lot of MSMEs, and I wanted to share with all of you because she is somebody who is passionate about helping MSMEs to get access to equity funds. So she would want to have probably a couple of minutes only, and then then I'll close the webinar and take the question and answer sessions. Yeah, Heena, you can come in.
Thank you, Sreeram, for giving me an opportunity to speak about this. So I believe that everybody would be thinking that why again and again everybody is focusing on valuation. I could explain it with one of the example. It is in relation to one of the business which is named as Nika. You all must be aware of that business. The founder Falguni Nair invested about 8 crores in the company when she started, and now the kind of a shareholding she has is about 23.9%, and she holds about the valuation of those shares is about 2,430 crores. So that's how the valuation is of the business, and that is why everybody is talking about it. So the one thing that I really want everybody to understand, that holding 100% of a rupee 100 share is something not better. However, if you hold even 10% of the share value, wherein the share is being valued at rupees 1 lakh, it really makes a difference. So the behavior is really important in that regards. So the entrepreneur has to be, I totally agree with your point that they should not be emotionally attached with the business. You are developing a business because you wanted to do it, because you were passionate about it. So you should always go ahead, take a help from a valuer in order to value your company, to understand the numbers, and then sell the equity shares accordingly.
Okay. Heena, personally, in your company, what do you do?
So I'm an investment banker. I have been helping startups raising equity funds from various investors. So we have got a pool of investors, certain HNIs on board who invest in different businesses. We have got certain mentors on board who help businesses, who help young entrepreneurs to understand that how one should run a business, when and how they should dilute the equity. And that's how we help, early stage startups.
So help me with one answer. This is my last question before we open it up to the public. Do you think currently, considering the pandemic time which we are going through, are there investors are interested, or they bullish in terms of picking up stake in smaller companies?
I would say that I always had a positive outlook during this pandemic, because I have seen investors who have been keenly interested in different segments. Certain segments which never came into the picture, like renewable resources. People started investing in renewable resources. However, from last 2 years, these people were not even looking at the solar industry at all. The reason being because this pandemic created an urge in the investors that the renewable resources would be the future.
Okay.
And so my outlook towards this pandemic has always been positive.
Right.
And investors are keenly interested in certain segments. So when it comes to fintech, health tech, you must have heard about a lot of investment happening in last few months.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Heena. Thank you so much, Tarun, for joining us. And I just say, because I'm going to open up for the question and answer sessions. So the idea is not to scare you, but to tell you that if you're running a manufacturing business, if you're running an hospitality business, if you're in any kind of these kind of enterprises, and if you feel that your sector, you may not be able to get up very fast, you probably have a feel that you have some debts, it is better to go for an equity than for a debt. Obviously, people like me, trainers, we can't look for those kind of stuff. We have to continue to pay our EMIs and consultants, but we are talking about genuinely trying to help some of the people in the businesses here. Now, I would like to open up the session for question answer. But before that, I think first thing is, I'm not trying to sell. If you're not ordered for no reference point, please go ahead and order right now today. This is my request. I'm not going to make a palace or a villa or buy a Mercedes Benz out of the few hundred rupees I make. It's not about that. It's about making a contribution. Okay. And you can also share with me. I would like to give you Amazon gift voucher, because I don't want to push the sales in Notion Press, because in Notion Press, if I push the sale, the numbers don't reflect in Amazon. That's the reason why I would like to give gift vouchers. So share with me, because you will find certain reference points, certainly from the book, which would help you. That's all I would like to say. And then if you have questions to either me, to Tarun, or to Heena, feel free to go ahead and ask. If you're looking for funds, where do I approach? How do I do? Any question, we'll be more than happy to take any of the questions. You can go ahead. You can raise your hand and we'll be more than happy to answer. Don't feel, should I mention that I need funds and all those stuff? No, it's not that. It's about you. You may want to start up a company. Anything you can ask. Yeah. Guna. Yeah. Guna, please go ahead, Guna. Do I need to unmute you? Yeah. I'm unmuting you, Guna.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Guna.
Yeah, very good evening to everyone. I am Guna Siran calling from Coimbatore. I am running an MSME unit, manufacturing unit. I'm manufacturing a wall putty. That is, wall putty, I think.
Yeah.
It's in a painting industry. And for the past 5 years, I am doing this business. And at present, we started doing a job of leading brand Addison Paints. Actually, 60 to 70% of my production goes to Addison brand. And we established a very good brand, my own brand also. I established a very good brand. And quality-wise also, we are doing good with very good quality. And at present, I am almost covering 60% of the Tamil Nadu market. Not with the product share, but we are having dealers all over Tamil Nadu. Now, I feel my strengths are okay, but to further improve the product value and to increase the volume of business with the latest machineries and everything, I need some to find an investor. So, can you help me in that way?
Yeah, you're addressing the question to Heena, myself, or Tarun?
I think Heena can better answer. She has a pool of investors.
Yeah. But Tarun, first he has to get his business valued, right?
Right.
Agree.
And I do, I think Tarun knows across the country, whoever wants to be a valuer, the final part, before they become a valuer, they have to attend my training. After that, only they get certified.
Yes. One thing I would like to add here, that even somebody is at MSME level, even if you're borrowing money. So last week only I was talking to one of my relatives and I said, your business is growing up crazily and you have touched 100 crores turnover at class B city, you are doing it. So you must have borrowed money. He said, my concept is very clear. The land is my own, building is my own, plant and machinery is my own. So 50 crore rupees of investment is from my pocket. That is completely debt free. Remaining 40 crore is my working capital. So say 10-15 crore is in inventory, 10-15 crore is in national debt, and remaining is in international debt. So that part I have got the funding from the bank, because that keeps on moving. And he was so clear that once you borrow money for fixed assets, then you are in trouble. Because in Hindi we say, एक बार चक्का रुका, तो फिर आप बैंक का लोन कभी नहीं पे कर पाओगे. So even if the borrowing is there, that should be for working capital part only. And then for fixed asset part, if you want to have equity participation, we can get in touch. I can try in Indore also, or Heena can try for you. That Sreeram can give contact details that we can search for investors. Yes, there are many people.
Yes, Tarun, I would certainly say this, because Guna is a good friend of mine. I know him. Heena, do you want to chip in and say anything?
So I agree with what you said. Nonetheless, before I help him with the investors, the company needs to be valued correctly. Correct. So that we can reach out to investor. I do have certain investors who would be interested in order to help him out not only with the funds, but strategically also.
Yes.
Yes, Guna, I'll get in touch. I'll give you both the contacts of Tarun and Heena Arora. Okay.
Okay.
And they will be more
Thank
than
you very much to all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this is the, if you like the webinar, if it was useful, it was a different webinar, you can go to this Google page and give a review. And I'm also giving you the Amazon link for you to buy the book. Yeah, go ahead. Any other question, please? Or comments? You want to say anything to me or Tarun or Heena?
Yeah. Yeah. Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Mahendra here. My question was in response to the previous answer by Heena. I mean, what do you mean by strategic investors? Like,
So certain investors not only bring funds to you, but they also bring in their network in order to help you,
okay.
to get on the revenue targets. So that's what the strategic investor means. So we usually push into the investors who could strategically help you, because funds can be arranged by anybody. However, strategic partnership is difficult to create.
Right. Okay. So, okay, we'll get in touch with you.
Sure.
Thank
So
you.
when will the pandemic end? Somebody is asking me a question, and being a trainer, I don't have an answer. I don't have a crystal ball to give you an answer. Okay. But certainly, I think, we have to find our innovative methods. Ramana Garu, you can feel free to get in touch with me, probably talk to me, because, there are methods, because I think, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I really believe that if you practice something only, you can say that. So I've been at the busiest best of my life ever since COVID came. Okay. So it's all a question of quick change, adaptability, finding innovation. Mistakes will happen. Don't be perfect. Don't try to get a perfect solution. There is no perfect solution in this pandemonium times. Everybody makes mistakes. Try it out. Your one product will fail. Another product will succeed. Your one route to the market will succeed. Another route to the market will fail badly. So try it out. Get in touch with me. Yeah, Rutraj, please go ahead. Rutraj, please ask your question.
Yeah, I say. Actually, there's a question to Tarun. Actually, what is Bloomberg Terminal? I don't know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Can you explain,
So
please?
yeah, actually, what happens if I want to see market capitalization, sales, and every single financial data of any Indian listed company? So I can just I can simply go to bacindia.com or nacindia.com and I can get a whole lot of data over there. But if I want to see the world over data, say for 100 countries which are doing good, I want to see all details of all listed companies and other financial details also, that what are the interest rate prevailing in various economies, what is GDP growth, and every single economic data of planet Earth, I can say better, which is documented. It is available on one of the financial service provider, like Reuters is also there, Bloomberg is there. And if you come down at a lower level, then ProVest and Capital IQ is there. So the good management colleges, they do subscribe. One Bloomberg terminal costs around 4 lakh rupees per month or something. So all big institutions, financial institutions, they have one Bloomberg terminal, and you need to book a slot and fetch data. In fact, I lost one valuation assignment because I am not subscribed to Bloomberg terminal. 4 lakh rupees per month. I don't get so many jobs like this. Specific requirement of the client was you need to have a subscription to Bloomberg, and you need to give reference that I have collected data from here, and based on that I have done valuation. Financial data worldwide you can get over there.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Anybody else has any questions to ask? Yes, everybody is saying it's a very informative webinar. I took a different route. In fact, we will be coming with a lot of collaborative effort. We will be looking at a career progression from I think I'm going to have a Lieutenant General joining me from Army, who will be speaking about how career progression happens in various places, and how one prepares for another role, how in Army they prepare, and that can be an amazing thing, and that's going to come up. Niti, go ahead. Niti, please ask.
Yeah, I would just like to know, basically, I am a businessman doing a trading business. So do you think the investor will be interested to join in a trading business? Because I'm there in the market since past 35 years, and we deal with the pharmaceutical industries. But lately, from past 10 years, the market has been come up with so many new business people coming from Calcutta and Gujarat with loads of money, and they have really scattered the regular business what we used to do earlier. So we are facing a problem in the market. So do you think will there be any investor will be interested to join hands?
So I'll be able to answer your question once I understand that what all products are you dealing in, and later on we can certainly
Definitely.
talk about
Can you
if we
just
can bring in the investors.
share your contact number? So I'll just get in touch with you and we can look into it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I will share Heena's contact number.
Yeah, please. Yes, sir. Please do
Friend, and I think today also somebody had asked me, and had sent already to Heena. They're a manufacturer, come a trader. Whomever I sent you, Heena, today.
Okay.
Yeah, Tarun, you had something to tell Mr. Niti.
No, actually, Heena is rightly answered. It's something like that. If you have some innovation, then usually people try to put money into your business. Just if it is regular, like she was saying, I need to know the product detailing. It is something which interests them for future to grow, and scalability must be there. If it is very regular trading business, usually I don't see investors for that. But once we go into detail of your product and maybe something is interesting over there, then maybe investors can come.
Sure, sir. I'll definitely get in touch and I'll see to it. Thank you.
Niti, you can scale up your business big time.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. See, because I'm there in the market since past 35 years, and I know so many MDs and the CEOs of the pharma industries. But unfortunately, because of the new breed of people coming with loads of money, they have been capturing our market. So there is where the problem has started.
So your connection is the thing which can bring you money.
Absolutely.
That is the connection is very important, right?
Yeah.
The
pharma industry in Hyderabad, basically, I'm so much in connect with these people, and like I'm accessible to most of the CEOs and the CFOs of the company. But then, without the cash on hand, without buying the material on cash, you cannot sell. And pharma industry is 100% credit business. So you should have that withstand, capacity to withhold the money for 3 to 4 months and then get the money back. So for that, the investor is required basically to keep the money. Corpus front to have it.
Niti, it's all about, if I'm right, Heena and Tarun can just chip in. It's all about how you present the idea, genuinity of the idea, and what is in it for the other person. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. We can
the other person, the outcome the other person is going to get, that's going to make a lot of difference. Sure. Yes, and I heard somebody else's voice, but I could not make out who was that. Somebody else was trying to speak.
Probably Rahul or who was? Yeah.
Mr. Amrik Singh Sandhu, would you have anything to share? I know you're a very senior finance professional.
Hi, Sreeram.
Hi.
No, what you have said, that a cash is the king. This time is not right to borrow money. If you're short of money, then borrow money. Otherwise, it's better to manage the show with the cash available or generate the cash. That's very important, because I was not prepared for what I have to say.
Yeah. No, but I would like to hear from you. Mr. Amrik Singh Sandhu is the former CFO of a large public listed company, vice president and CFO. Know him since a very, very long time. Got reconnected.
Thank you.
Just want to take your opinion, Mr. Sandhu.
Yeah. No, I'm a board member on a few companies.
Yeah.
So what we are advising independent directors. What we are advising the management, that take care of your day-to-day affairs and get your money collected on time. Because SMEs, there is circular by government, all payment should be made by any debtors. So that's it's a chance for SMEs to collect the money, especially like I am director there, the government supplies are there, and government has made the payments. So their companies are in surplus of money, thanks to the circular. SMEs, those are having government supplies or other way they can collect the money under the circular. That's very good for SMEs. So let's collect the money as far as possible and run the show. That's it.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mr. Sandhu. Yeah, Ruturaj? Was it by mistake? Or?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, no. Sir, there is a question to Amrit, sir. I have a customer who is giving the payment on 60 days, but on check, the date is written of, 30 days back date. So in the starting, this it was happening that after 45 days, I was getting the payment. Now, after 65 days, they are giving the payment, but on check, the date is written is back date. So is there any solution of that?
No, solution is there. You can't fight with the customer that you are doing. So it's illegal what he is doing. You cut the check in back date and give you after 30 days to show it that he is giving a check on time. So only the check when you receive it, you give the acknowledgement that check has been given. Only you can take it up with the government.
Okay.
That's up to you.
Okay,
But he
actually, I
can't do
cannot-
that, cut the check today and give after 60 days.
Actually,
On
I
paper,
cannot
he's
fight with
showing
the-
he has given the
Yeah.
payment.
on time.
He is playing smart with you.
Yes, that's what. Okay. Okay. Sir. Thank you so much.
Are you willing to lose that customer for the sake of the larger community?
No. I don't.
Or
I
do you
cannot
want to
lose
keep
that.
the customer? It's a very big personal decision which only you have to take. Now nobody can advise.
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
risky
okay. Thank you so
proposition.
much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah. Go ahead. Any one of you have any questions to ask on this particular webinar? This was the topic. I'm sitting in a chat box. Okay.
One interesting thing I would like to add here, that even chartered accountants can they register under MSME. So I was not registered. So I asked, I don't do regular mainstream practice. So I asked somebody, should I get registered? They said, don't register. And even if you register, don't mention it that you are registered. Otherwise you will not get the work, because you usually get the fees when next year you do the audit. Then you get the fees for the last year. If you register yourself under MSME and mention it, then they will have to pay you immediately. And if they don't have the intention to pay immediately, they will not give the work to you, because you are MSME and they will have to report it to government.
Okay. So I guess that's the question answer session which we had. Thank you so much for joining us on a Sunday evening. Thank you so much, Tarun and Heena, for at a very short notice. In fact, I just asked Tarun yesterday night and Heena today afternoon, because once I knew that Tarun is on board, and then I said, okay, let's have Heena also there so that the dots are connected. So I would address the behavioral part and you will address the valuation part, and Heena would be there to say that, okay, fine, investors are available. So it will complete the whole thing. So for the viewers, there are going to be a lot of webinars. We're going to come to you this way. If you have any specific requests for any particular subject, if you're looking for, please let me know, because that's important, because when I'm doing it based on my intelligence. And today I've realized that we need to, as much as collaboration is required, collaboration is very, very important. It's not about just, yes, I'm not a finance guy, but, CA, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, trust me to train all the valuers also and chartered accountants, but still, it's very important. And because I have access to some of the most talented people, I should say, touch wood, nothing for me, it's all because of the network. So as a result of which we can bring that solution to each one of you at one place. Okay, so that's the main idea. So at this point in time, all of us need help. So please feel free to share whatever topic you would like to, and I'll be more than happy to arrange a webinar on that. Heena, go ahead, please. Heena, you had raised your hand.
I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity that you have provided us to interact with everybody.
My pleasure, Heena. My pleasure.
Plus one.
Thank you, Tarun and Heena, for coming at a very short notice. Thanks to all of you.
Pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Jay didn't have anything to say today. Jay Kumar?
Yes, sir.
I don't know, it's for consultants like us, we need a different topic, but I thought it could be of help to many people.
No, definitely it is quite interesting, especially the point of not having an emotional attachment to the business, which is very, very, very interesting. Like in a personal relationship business also, that is very important. That's what I've also been telling my clients. You're on the point. And incidentally, I'm reading a book which is quite interesting and very easy to read. Maybe once I complete, I'll give you my complete feedback.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Jaykumar. In fact, Jaykumar, I think you should inform the Masti members
Yes,
about
sir.
this webinar. I think you should tell them on the Tuesday, not about this webinar, it's about some inputs from this, whatever you heard from Tarun and Heena and all. Because it
Definitely.
could have helped a lot of Masti members actually.
Definitely, I'll do.
You can share the YouTube also with them, not a problem.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Prasad. I don't know whether it was useful for you from all the way from this place, Melbourne. Thanks for joining.
It was my pleasure, Sreeram.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you start up a company, you can let us know.
Definitely, I will.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yes, Anand.